Hey everyone, we are headed off to an appointment today. It is just Delilah and I. We're going to a nearby town, and I even said to myself, I was like, oh, I hope that it's near this coffee shop that I love, but I've never seen any like offices over there. I just looked at the directions and it is, so I'm excited. I know I don't share too much about my kids' medical stuff, but you know, I feel like, I don't feel like this is an invasion. I feel like, I mean, it was just such a rare occurrence. So I don't feel like I have to share about it, but we are going to get her ears checked when someone, I mean, every case is different, especially in children. But when someone has Guillain-Barré, there's usually nerve issues, and she had issues to her spine, and she had paralysis in a whole bunch of her bodies, essentially nerves 6, 7, and 8. So she went fully deaf in one ear for that like month and a half long stay, and we have not had the best luck with pediatric audiologists to show up. The last 3 times, actually today they called, so the last 3 times someone has called out, which I get, like, life happens, but we haven't had her ears checked since we were essentially discharged in Pennsylvania like 2 years, well, not 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago. So we need to get them checked because that could affect her speech and all this stuff. So today they called and said they're moving the location, which is totally fine, but I thought they were going to cancel again. I'm like, oh, please don't cancel again, because I'm just like on and off the phone with medical people all the time because our insurance is different, and it's just like a whole thing. And when I said last week in the update that we didn't get the news we were hoping for, it wasn't necessarily bad news, but I guess it was just something I wasn't expecting, and it's because of my impatience. A neurologist once told me that this isn't something that comes right back, and you could have things that come back and are lost again, and that is why she has Guillain-Barré. She didn't have it. So I think it's solely me just being impatient, because to me and to all of you and to everyone around, she presents as just, I don't like the word normal or regular, but like a regular 2-year-old. So it's just difficult when they do those, like, I guess internal tests, and then you realize that there's some things about her that could be affected in the future. So the last test that we got was her reflex test, and that was something that really, I don't like this word either, but it triggered me, because in the hospital when we were first diagnosed, the doctor came in and did her reflexes, and there was none. She had no reflex, and that's when I knew. That's when I could visually see, I guess, in my brain that there was something wrong. And that's when the doctor had other people come in, and I just didn't understand what was going on. So in this appointment like 2 weeks ago that I shared with you, they did her reflexes. A train. They did her reflexes on the left side, and there was no reflex, and little to no on her upper left side. So you know, that was interesting, because she walks and moves like, you know, a regular kid to me, but I'm not trained in pediatric OT and PT, and it just, I don't know, it kind of set me back. So it's not necessarily bad news, it was just not news that I was expecting, so I didn't mean to mislead anybody. But that goes into you know, a new set of things. So we'll do PT and OT with her, but the problem is a lot of offices are trying to virtually do that, and I just don't feel comfortable because it's glitchy, to be honest with you. My sister's in PT and she doesn't prefer it either. I mean, sometimes it works with certain patients, but anyways, we're doing that, and then we're doing ear, nose, and throat audiology, and then we do swallow studies too, because you know, she lost her ability to do all that. So, I mean, that can affect eating, and, you know, it's a process that we keep going on. And I am the first one to tell you, I'm just so grateful for the health of my family and I. So many others have it so much worse than me, and I need that to be recognized, that when I get on here and talk to you all like this, it's not me complaining, and it is in a sense me venting, because you know, my husband's not here a lot to talk to about this, and I've grown close with a lot of you. I've never met some of you, most of you I've never met, but I still talk to you every other day, and you know, some of you email me, and it's just, I've just become close with all of you. I know everyone was pretty invested with all of that, and I will say I'll never show my children in a vulnerable state. And you know, Dr. Phil just did this special on family vloggers, basically, and the exploitation of children, and I see vloggers show their kids in very vulnerable ways, in inappropriate ways, and I'll be the first to say I never want to do that. But then there's other people speaking on the other side of things where I don't know if it's considered like virtue signaling, but they say, I'd never do that, and I'd never do this because this, and this, but it's okay if you do. And I've said things like that in the past, but the kids are a big part of my life, and being in the niche that I am, motherhood, you know, they're bound to pop up, and they're bound to be part of our day-to-day. And I will say, like, the last year when I was working and teaching, I couldn't be here with Delilah, and I couldn't answer questions that neurology had, like what's her day-to-day look like, because I wasn't there. And that was a big part of me staying home, to be able to not research her, but spend enough time with her to know, is she walking differently? Does she choke on her food when she's eating? And that was an answer that I could confidently say yes to when the Swallow Study people were talking. So I don't know, I never want to exploit her or her medical her personal medical issues, but it's just so rare of a case. I don't know if part of me is hoping to find just someone out there, because as of right now, she is the first case in Colorado and Pennsylvania that my doctors have ever worked with at that age. So, and I used to say a lot, but the more people we meet, the more times I have to tell her story, and I have to say what happened. And then you have doctors that are curious, and some have boldly said, are they sure that's what it was? And you know, as far as I know, I was confident with my medical team in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania, and they, you know, they kept me informed, they showed me, they had me part of everything, and that was really important to me. So, and they explained things to me, they took the time to do that. And you know, we worked with infectious disease, and she was amazing, and ended up not being botulism or any of those things. I mean, we went down a list of numbers of tests, and you know, but she still checked in even after it wasn't that. And yeah, like I said, none of these medical professionals have ever seen this case, so it's not the most, you know, serious illness a child can go through, and I get that. So I never want like pity for her, and I never want someone to think that we're complaining. It's just me venting and telling you what's going on, because motherhood is a struggle, and a lot of people show the highlight reel. I'm guilty of it myself, because I don't want to sit here and make you watch the kids screaming and fighting and arguing, because they're humans with emotions, and they're not born to know how to regulate them. So I hope it's okay that I have these like vulnerable vlogs, day in the lives, I guess to just show you that you know, I was talking with my husband the other day, we're a pretty regular family, and some vloggers that I follow came you know, pretty regular to me, and now they're just not relatable. And that is my thing. Like, I feel like I have created a community here, whether you have kids now or you've had them in the past, you know, or you're raising your grandkids. I feel like I have found a lot of people to connect with that live like a regular life, that go to the grocery store, that don't have these luxurious cars and bags, and you can you know, spend your money, your hard-earned money, however you want. But I don't know, I guess I'm like in this like niche block where I'm trying to do this motherhood and minimalism, but I don't know. It's unique. It's unique to me. I've always been told I don't really fit into a specific bubble, and I will say that. I think that's why, like, politically it's hard for me to decide on certain things too. So yeah, I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm feeling as of lately. But that's what we're doing today. We're heading to this appointment. She has informed me that it is tricky to do a 2-year-old, so just be prepared to be patient, which I can do. So yeah, we're gonna go early, get a little bit of a coffee, and get a COOKIE, and sit and see what happens. So wish us luck. I'm confident. To me, her hearing seems fine, but I am not internally testing her, if that makes sense. So I'll be interested to see this. I've never seen it done at this age. I assisted with preschool once when I was teaching, so 4 is the youngest I've seen a hearing test done, so it should be interesting. But we're gonna get on with our days and do all that. So I was actually thinking about doing a trimester update, and then throwing in some questions you have for me. So if you have any questions on pregnancy, I guess related questions, then ask me in the comment box, and I will include them in my trimester update. So I'm trying to keep it organized, so really pregnancy and birth related questions, they can go in the comment box, and I will answer those in that little update. It'll be about 2 weeks late from the first trimester, but I feel like it's important. So we're gonna get on the road. I think she's sleeping, of course. Grab a coffee, and I'll catch up with you after the appointment. Again, I'm not gonna like fully update you, but I would like to let you know if she passes or what they plan to do, what interventions they plan to take. So here we go. Let's get this mama some coffee. Okay, we just made it here. I forgot my favorite wine store is here too, which I'm not obviously gonna go in, but it's a cute little space for the town. But I got a decaf iced coffee with 1 pump of mocha and a splash of coconut milk. It's like a hot chocolate but with coffee in it. So yes, I do drink a bit of caffeine during my pregnancy, and there's a bit of caffeine in decaf coffee, if you didn't know. I feel comfortable doing that. If you don't, that's totally fine. I feel like people do pregnancy so much differently than, it's just unique to the person. So I'm gonna sit here and read a little bit. I haven't read my book in a long time. We're gonna do that, and I will see you after the appointment. You see him do the window? Say, we love you, Dad.
I love you, Dad.
Say, be safe, Dad. Can you say?
Be safe, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Maybe I'll get all the dishes clean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying. We gotta die.
Say, love you, Daddy.
Bye.
Bye. Wave to him. Bye, Daddy.
I got the
I love you.
no.
Oh, there he is. He's doing his binoculars. Say hello. Hello. I see you. Goodbye.
Bye.
I love you. Oh, long kiss. Be safe.
Be safe.
Bye, Dad. Mwah. Okay. Hi. It's
It is the next day. I really had to take a day after the appointment and kind of just debrief myself, get myself together. I don't know. It was a tough appointment, and like I was saying in the car, I'm never going to show you videos or photos of her in the hospital or any of her therapies because it's kind of scary to see, and I want to protect her privacy. But also, like, we're all going through this. Not only is she going through it, but we are too. And you see so much of our lives, and then there's also so much that you don't see. So if you see her in the future, I just want to answer questions now. The hearing test went well because she was really well behaved. So she did really well sitting in the chair, and her right side, she was just fine. We were in a soundproof room and they did different tests at different tones. Unfortunately, she scored non-attentive in her left ear. It's not fully gone, but they'll have to do further testing, and I had to ask my mother-in-law, who's a doctor, to explain this, and my sister, who is also a doctor, to explain this. But, when there's nerve damage, I didn't understand fully why, her walking and her ability to swallow would come back and her hearing wouldn't. So they talked me through it, and there's a myelin sheath. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. When it's attached to the auditory nerve, it can't repair itself because it's not in motion, is my understanding. Whereas like your joints and your legs and your arms, nerve damage can repair itself with physical therapy and such. So, that was the first appointment. So we go back in 3 weeks where they do a deeper test on the left side. And then we go back again and they do the same tests. I think, I'm not sure, similar tests, I guess, when she's sleeping, because there's different brain activity and her age too. So her age, she's all about trying to take things away from her. So she's 2, so she was a little distracted, was pulling at things, so it's easier to get a better read when she's sleeping as well. So the audiologist didn't really want to go down the road yet, but if she truly is non-attentive in the left ear, then she will need a hearing aid for the future or a cochlear implant. So I think we would lean towards the hearing aid, but we're just unfamiliar with it just because, of her age and all that. So I guess the thing was, she told us to talk into her right ear, speak expressively and clearly, try and look at her when you're talking, and then just notice some behaviors. So even spending 24 hours with her, it's apparent, and it explains some speech things as well. So I will say I am grateful to live in 2022 and have these therapies available to her, but again, not the news that we were hoping. And yeah, like I said in the car, I'm sharing this. Maybe this sounds selfish to some of you, but I'm sharing it in hopes of connection. Maybe a nurse that's dealt with this before, a doctor that's dealt with it. But I will say with every day comes a new challenge, and that sounds super generic. But like I said in the car, I guess I'm impatient, and I really thought that this was kind of behind us and we weren't going to see any long-term effects because her, recovery was quicker than regular patients with Guillain-Barré because of her age. So I guess I wasn't ready to see all of this. And I went right back to work because we didn't really have a choice. We needed the income. And, I'll probably regret that for the rest of my life. Probably feel guilty because I feel like I wasted a year being separated from her because she went to daycare and I couldn't observe her. And I feel like if I would have gotten these therapies, I really don't know because I've never handled this before. So I wanted to keep you updated. It did take me a day to just be with her, be off of the socials, and just try and, make myself feel better. So I cleaned today. I voted today, which was really nice. I know you see everyone with their stickers saying I voted and everything, but it makes me feel good to have that right. A lot of countries don't have that right. I don't think people realize that. So it felt good. It felt empowering. So I did all the fun things with the kids today, the feel good stuff, and yeah. So I'm going to end it here. I think I'm going to be doing a nighttime routine here soon. Don't forget to leave those questions all about pregnancy and any kid-related questions you have. I'm going to film that Q&A here in the next few days, so get your questions in. I'm down here editing, and that totally cut me off. So what I was going to say is stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to me today. It really does mean the world to have your support. So I will see you next time. And yeah, that's it. Hope you're having a good night.